Welcome to Key Tech. Please describe this channel if you are interested in today's video. As the birthplace of the semiconductor industry, the United States has always been the world's leader in both the technology it masters and the market share it occupies. Except for a period of time when Japanese semiconductors rose in the 1980s, the United States basically accounted for nearly half of the world semiconductor market share. In order to maintain its leading position in the semiconductor field, the United States not only invests a large amount of money in technology research and development in the semiconductor industry every year, but also has been using various means to suppress countries that are gradually rising in the semiconductor field. For example, Japan in the 1980s and China today. In recent years, the United States has included Chinese companies in the entity list many times. From sales bans to sanctions to supply cuts, the United States can be said to have used various methods. The purpose of the United States move is also very simple. It is to suppress Chinese semiconductors, so that the United States can control the global semiconductor supply chain, and further enhance the United States' right to speak in the semiconductor field. Therefore, in addition to suppressing Chinese semiconductors and actively forming an alliance with its allies, the United States also provided $52 billion in subsidies and preferential policies last year to attract some of the world's top semiconductor companies to build factories in the United States and accelerate the return of the semiconductor industry to the United States. It's just that countries around the world have gradually realized that the United States is not reliable, and have begun to invest a lot of money in the research and development of advanced technologies in the semiconductor industry. Recently, news came that India suddenly announced that it would invest $10 billion to build a chip production base in India, making India a global semiconductor manufacturing center. India's ambition to defeat China and replace the United States has also been ridiculed by many foreign media. Some foreign media even directly stated that it is simply daydreaming. Countries start chips to remove US tech. Last year, the United States spent $52 billion and preferential policies to attract major chip companies around the world to build factories in the United States, in order to accelerate the return of the semiconductor industry. Unexpectedly, after TSMC and other companies went to the United States to build factories, the United States revised its subsidy rules. If it wants to apply for a subsidy of more than $1 billion, it not only needs to share the excess profits with the United States, but also needs to upload core data and customer data to the United States. In desperation, companies such as TSMC had no choice but to give up subsidies from the United States, and insisted on investing their own money to build factories. The experience of TSMC and other companies has also made countries around the world realize that the United States is unreliable. If they continue to rely on the United States in the semiconductor industry, then TSMC's today will be the tomorrow of other companies. China first started self-research on chips. It not only proposed the goal of 70% domestic self-sufficiency of chips by 2025, but also provided tens of trillions to support the development of domestic high-tech and integrated circuits. After that, the European Union also introduced a chip bill of €43 billion to subsidize local chip companies, attract foreign chip giants to build factories in Europe, and plan to increase chip production capacity by 30% in 2030. Japan has formed a high-end chip alliance and plans to mass-produce 2 nanometers chips first in 2027. South Korea has also invested 300 trillion won to build the world's largest semiconductor base in Seoul. Just recently, India also announced an investment of $10 billion to build a local chip production base and turn India into a global semiconductor manufacturing center. Countries have invested a lot of money in the construction of the local semiconductor industry, hoping to attract more chip giants to build factories to enhance their semiconductor capabilities. The fundamental purpose is to remove American technology in the semiconductor field. After all, countries have realized that the United States is unreliable at all. Why is India daydreaming? After the news that India announced that it would build India into a global semiconductor manufacturing center, it was ridiculed by many foreign media. India's desire for independent modeling is completely wishful thinking. Judging from the current semiconductor strength, India is much worse than China, the United States, Japan, South Korea, the European Union, and other countries or alliances. India has a long way to go to achieve independent chip production, not to mention surpassing China, and replacing the United States, has become a global semiconductor center. Not only that, when countries around the world are investing a lot of money to attract chip giants to build factories and develop their own semiconductor capabilities, the $10 billion invested by India is not enough at all. Higher than India. Why can India develop in the chip field? What's more, India's reputation among foreign-funded enterprises is not good. Foreign-funded companies such as Xiaomi and Ford have all experienced funds being frozen in India for no reason, and Foxconn and Western Technology have withdrawn from India. These enterprises are a lesson for foreign-funded enterprises. India's international reputation has been consumed by India itself, but few foreign-funded enterprises dare to invest in India. After all, the purpose of enterprises is to make money. If the money they make is frozen for no reason, then no one invest foolishly. Written at the end, the United States wants to achieve the goal of controlling the global semiconductor supply chain by suppressing Chinese semiconductors. But it did not expect to repeatedly modify chip rules, undermine global fair trade, and force other chip companies to abandon the Chinese market. The United States has no integrity at all. This has further led to the European Union, China, Japan, South Korea, India and other countries starting to remove American technology in the semiconductor field. Next, the situation of the global semiconductor industry will become more and more chaotic, and there will be a major reshuffle. It can be said that the United States is doing its own thing.